Andrea here with I Dream of Crafting, and there is Riley. Hello, Riley! This is going to be a tutorial on how to do a women's clutch wallet. Here is a sample of what we're going to be making. It is Velcro closure. It has, there we go. It has 9 credit card slots and an ID, and the ID has 2 hidden pockets behind it, and there's also 2 billfolds. So that is what we're going to be making. You will see this wallet again. I'm going to do a time lapse of a couple different decals that I'm going to put on the outside here and on this white part. So you will see this wallet again. I did do a tutorial on this specific wallet, but it just turned out horrible. So we're going to try this again. So the supplies you will need to make a clutch wallet are a plastic for your ID, some type of credit card or card that has the size of a credit card so that you can check your pockets, X-Acto knife or scissors or both, depending on what you use. You know me, I use both. A cutting mat, a ruler, preferably a metal one or a wood one with metal on the edge. Clear tape, if you use clear tape. I use clear tape. Everything you see me use clear tape for in the video, you can use with duct tape. Your wallet's just going to be a little thicker, but not too much, so it'll be fine if you don't want to use clear tape. And tape. You can use 2, you can use 1 if you want. I'm going to go with 3. So this will be my main color, and one of these will be a pocket color and one of these will be a trim. I'm not sure which one will be which yet, but we will figure that out. And those are all the supplies. So let's get started. So I start my wallets off by making the card slots first. So I decided to make 6 of the 9 card slots black, and the other 3 will be the purple zebra. So roll out your tape. I use the clear tape for the back just to save on duct tape and they'll make the wallet thinner. So it's 3 3/4, 7 1/2, 11 1/4, and 15. Then move up your tape and cut 3 more card slots. Of course, you can make them any color you want. You can do each color or each card slot a different color if you want to. But you want 9 total. So here's another one, 3 3/4, 7 1/2. And that'll give you 6. And I'm going to make the other 3 a different color, just for contrast. So flip it up, take it up and flip it over. Take your clear tape. Now for these 3, they're going to be behind the display card, as I call them. So for these, you want to line them up on a line, and then the clear tape is going to go 1/4 inch above the top. There we go, above the duct tape. So you're going to have 1/4 inch of clear tape hanging off the top of the card, and you're going to have 1/4 inch sticky on the duct tape left, and that's just going to adhere to the billfold to hold those all down. So 3 more. I had a little trouble with it sticking to my fingers. Make sure you're 1/4 inch above, or as close as you can get to 1/4 inch. You can always trim it up and fix it later, because the trim goes over. The trim is going to go over the clear tape. So if you screw up a little bit, it's okay. So smooth out any air bubbles. Pop them if you have to with your X-Acto knife. Then we're going to take our purple zebra and we're going to cut out 3 of these to equal 9 card slots. Don't forget your clear tape, or just cut out 6 pieces of your duct tape and stick them make a sheet with it, or a fabric, I'm sorry. So we're going to pull these up once you trim the edges, if you have to. Then you pick them up, and these you just cover completely. No overhang, no nothing, just completely cover the back. 1 more. Alright, so there are our card pockets. And trim up if you have to. You don't have to do this now if you don't want to, because we're going to trim later, but I had some clear tape, so I had to get that off of there. It was annoying me. So we're going to trim now. I'm going to do purple trim for the black card slots and black trim for the zebra. You actually need, for 9 card pockets, you need 3 strips that are 4 inches long. I messed up and didn't do 2 purple, but I'll do it later. So take your ruler and cut these into 1/2 inch strips. And when you get all of your tape cut at 1/2 inch intervals, take your first card. And for the cards that are completely covered, you just want to put the trim down 1/4 inch onto the card pocket. So just 1/4 inch down, flip it over and smooth it out on the back. Try not to have any air bubbles or crinkles. Alright, now for the black cards, you're going to line up the top of the duct tape with a line so that the clear tape extends above the inch line. And then just make sure you're putting it on 1/4 inch. Try and get them all uniform so that it looks nice on the wallet. If your clear tape is too big, just cut it down. You know, just do what you need to do to make it 1/4 inch. Flip it over, smooth it out. Yeah, I have to cut another strip of 4 inches because I screwed that up, but that's okay. This is at 3 times normal speed. If this is too slow or too fast, let me know. I can adjust it for future videos. Cut it at 1/2 inch and 3 more card pockets to do. And then we will work on the billfold. I would do the ID slot as well at this point, but I don't know what I was thinking. I completely forgot to do it. So, but I do it after I finish this billfold. So, if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. Alright, that is our last card pocket. So, now we're going to trim up all of our cards. This is also the time where you can take off any overhang, as you see I'm doing here. Any clear tape that hangs off the sides, just take that off with the overhanging duct tape for the trim. Just make them all pretty and all uniform. If you don't like how this is set up, I'm just recording my voice over the sped up video. Just let me know. I'll go back to the original, the way I was doing it. I'm just trying to speed up the videos a bit so they're not so long. So we're going to do the billfold now. So use your outside color, the color that you're going to put your, yeah, it snapped on me, put your card slots on. So, you want 2 strips that are 8 inches long, and then you want those 2 8-inch strips, you want to overlap them so that the total height is 3 inches. Smooth it all out. Now, I'm not going to flip it over and seal it. I do my wallets a little bit different. You'll see. So here I'm cutting some clear tape at 8.5 inches, and I'm cutting 2 strips out of that, which are 1/4 inch, and then I'm just cutting them at the 4 inch mark to cut them in half. You'll see why in a second. Take your first card pocket that has the sticky and put it about 1/4 inch down. You may have to go lower if the card doesn't fit. I'm just testing to see. You want a little bit of gap between your card and the top of the billfold so that it'll close nice. When you get that done, you flip it over and you seal the back so the sticky doesn't show through. So you want half of that plastic tape, or clear tape, excuse me, on the seam of the card, and you want the other half on the billfold itself so that it seals that card to the billfold, and you won't have to worry about the sticky catching your cards that you put in there. This is what it means if you've ever seen or heard people say, my wallet is with no sticky. This is what that means. It means that they've taken tape and sealed all those edges so that the tape doesn't pull up over time. Do the same thing with 3 other cards on the other side. I like to check just for sanity's sake. Just make sure they're lined up on at the edge of the billfold, and just check so that the cards fit. Seal your card, cut off the excess if you have to, and then line up your other cards underneath that one. If your bottom cards, which in this case are the zebra cards, if those overhang a little bit, don't worry about it. You can just cut those off and make it flush with the rest of the billfold. Those bottom cards are very forgiving. You'll see that I had to do that for this one. I had to cut both of those cards down because they overhung, sorry. So, now you want to cut, once you get your cards all straightened out. They weren't working with me tonight. Once you get those done, you want to take whatever color you desire. I used the zebra again. You want to cut a strip of tape that is 4 inches long, and you want to cut it in half. Doesn't matter if it's exactly in half or not. Mine never are. So I take the bigger piece, the 1-inch piece, and I put it 1/4 of an inch on each side of those card slots to hold those two groups down. The smaller piece I put up there because I can use it for the second billfold. Now we're going to close the back of the wallet now. So take 2 strips of your inside billfold color. Mine's going to be zebra. And you want 2 strips that are 8 inches long. Alright, now very carefully pull up your billfold. Well, your half of a billfold. Very carefully. Don't crinkle any of your cards. Don't shift anything. Once you get it up, you can take off those 2 pieces holding your cards down. You don't need them anymore. They won't shift. Flip it over. Cover the bottom of the billfold completely as best you can. And then with this one, you want to overhang it by 1/4 of an inch so that you can have a border. Then flip it over and fold it over to have a nice edge. Alright, now you just want to trim up everything that overhangs. As you can see here, those are my bottom card pockets. So I'm just going to trim all that off. And there you go, that is one billfold complete. Now we're going to work on our ID slot. So you want a color to show through the ID, and then you want a color for your hidden pockets. So the zebra is going to show through. The purple tape is going to form the hidden pocket, and I use clear tape to save on duct tape and size. So these are also just like the cards. It's 3 3/4. So you want 2 of each of your colors. So 3 3/4, 7 1/2. Your colors are now done. Continue with your clear tape of 1 1/4 and 15 inches. Now you want to take one of your 2 colors. This one I'm starting with the printed. The duct tape that shows through your ID, you want to cut it at 2 3/4. Hold on to all your scraps, you will be using them. Pick this up and completely cover the back so that there's no sticky showing at all. Alright, you trim if you need to. And now you take your other, your hidden pocket color, overlap by 1/4 again, and now you cut that at 3 inches. Now for this one's a bit different. Completely cover the bottom of the pocket, but now you want to leave 1/4 of an inch of the duct tape showing. So your clear tape will be completely on the duct tape, but you want 1/4 of an inch of the duct tape left untouched. Now you take your pocket, or your ID plastic, place the tape 1/4 of an inch down and fold it over. Now trim off if you need to. And now you want some clear tape. You want 1/4 of an inch. So I'm cutting again 1/4 of an inch, and then I'm cutting 4 inches. And now you just want to put it on that seam that you used to attach the plastic to the duct tape. Use your nail to push that into the seam and fold it over. There you go. Now line it up on the line and take a piece of tape for the trim. Put it about 1/4 of an inch, but when you fold it over, make sure it doesn't show through so that you can't see the back of the duct tape through the plastic. Alright, now we're going to flip that over again like that, and we're going to put a piece of tape just so it doesn't show through the plastic. Line up with the bottom and the sides, and there you go. There is your completed wallet. There is a video that shows that step slower. I will put a link to it. So we're going to make our next billfold here. 2 pieces of your outside billfold color that are 8 inches long. Take it to the 3-inch line. Now set your card pockets, test them, and seal them. And line them up underneath. And if they overhang, don't worry about it, you can trim them later. I'm cutting more clear tape so I can seal these cards. There we go. And then take a scrap piece of tape and hold your cards down. Now this one's a little bit different. We're not going to add the ID slot just yet. So, yes, take that other piece of tape that you cut for the other billfold, put it about 1/4 of an inch on, no more than 1/4 of an inch on those card slots, and trim off the excess, and now very carefully rip that up. And we're going to cut out our inside billfold color. It's the design for me. You want 2 pieces that are 8 inches long. And now you can take off that piece, flip it over, completely covered the bottom side, the bottom of the card pocket. I'm sorry, the billfold. And just like before, leave 1/4 of an inch above the billfold so that you can have a border. I find it easier to lay the tape away from me, that's why I flipped it over. Line up the sides as best you can. Now you can line up your billfold with the top of the wallet and then just fold that over. That's going to seal all that in there so nothing can come apart. And there you go. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to trim these. We're going to trim these. So I like to hold down the card pocket where I want it to and then cut, just so I know I'm cutting straight, so that the plastic doesn't shift on me and I cut too much of the plastic. And there you go, that one is done as well. So there's 2 card pockets, and now we're going to work on the outside of the wallet. So I pre-cut all my strips on 2 boards. You need 6 of your outside color at 9 inches and 6 of your inside color at 8 inches. So we're going to work from the inside out. Take your inside color, mine is purple, and line it up on a line. Then overlap by probably no more than 1/4 of an inch, and take this sheet up to 8 3/4 inches. It usually takes 6 strips for me, but I was surprised. Tonight I hit it exactly on with 5 strips. I was very happy. So, the other strip I will use later on in the video. So now very carefully rip this up, flip it over, and give yourself enough room to put this other tape on. So you want 1/2 inch on either side and 1/2 inch on the bottom, and then just do as you did before, and about 1/4 of an inch. Make sure you're leaving 1/2 inch on either side of the wallet all the way up. And when you get to the last one, you want to, this one will take 6. On the top of the wallet, you want, as I said, you want 1/2 inch on the top, or I'm sorry, 1/2 inch on either side, and then I do about 1/2 inch on the top too, but I always end up trimming it down later, but I'd rather trim it down than, overlap too much. So flip it over. Now on your bottom, you want to take your first billfold, and you just want to take out little corners There you go. And then line up your the bottom of your billfold with the bottom of the purple tape. And when you get it set, just fold that over. Make it as flush as you can. Now we're going to seal that. And so we're going to need our clear tape. Take the whole 8 inches and do a strip of, I'm doing 2 strips for both billfolds at 1/4 inch. Take one and just stick it on the seam, right over the seam. Use your nail to push it in. And now fold it back over, and where the top of the billfold is, you're going to cut the tape right there and then fold it over. I do a little bit under the billfold so that the tape isn't, laying over. And there you go, that's one. And now we're going to work on the second billfold. So this one's a bit different. We're going to take that extra piece of tape we had and we're going to cut it in half. Usually I have scrap tape lying around from making the inside of the billfold, or the wallet, but I lucked out. So we're going to take that inch of tape and we're going to, I find something heavy to hold the plastic down while I put the tape on. I put it about 1/4 inch, no more than 1/2 inch on the bottom. So now it's all set, and now you just line it up where you think it should go. You can take this on and off as many times as you have to, but check to make sure it all folds nice for you. And when it does, I lucked out, it happened the first time. Once again, you just cut where your billfolds end. And once again, I use the, I'm just cutting some extra tape here that doesn't need, it serves no purpose. I use a heavy object to hold that plastic down just to make it a little easier to fold that over. And then, once again, cutting and fold that over on the card slots. Tuck in tape where you have to. Now, I forgot to seal that, and I realize right now, but I'm not going to take that apart. It's actually not really sticky down there, so I'm just going to leave it. This is a bit too tall on the top, like I said, so I'm going to trim it down by about 1/4 inch. I go slow, so I do 1/4 inch. If it needs any more, I cut a little bit off. But I don't just take, a whole bunch off at once, because I've screwed up wallets that way. So I'm just trimming up all these to make them somewhat the same. And I don't know what I was thinking here. Ignore this part. But you want to take boxes out of the top, just like that. There we go. So take boxes out of the corners, and I like to fold over the sides first. So that's what I'm doing here, just tucking it into the billfold if I need to. So just folding over the sides, and then I'm folding over the top. And what I failed to mention in my intro, that you need Velcro, I apologize. So here's my Velcro, and I'm going to fold it over, press again, and now we slit our tape where our pockets are and just make sure they're free. So those were the 2 for the hidden pockets and the ID. Here's the 3 card slots here. And just run your finger along to make sure that they're all free. You can also use a card to make sure that they're okay. Excuse me. Just cut all your... And then there we go. That is a finished woman's clutch. And that is your completed duct tape clutch wallet. Velcro, 9 card pockets and an ID, and 2 hidden and 2 billfold. So, if this tutorial helped you out, if you liked this tutorial, please give it a big thumbs up and leave your questions, comments, and requests in the comment section below. And I will answer anything. And like I said before, I love requests, so please, 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 please request. And I will be back in probably a couple days with another tutorial or video. Thank you for watching.